Far beyond the known colonies of humanity, in a region of space untouched for centuries, the galactic predators ruled without question. Massive black ships drifted silently between stars, each bristling with weapons that could destroy entire planets. Their reputation was whispered across the galaxy. Any species that dared challenge them vanished without a trace. They were fear itself, and they knew it. Inside the command vessel Dominion, the predator leaders gathered around a circular holotable. The display shimmered with images of distant star systems and small glowing specks. Human ships. "They are insignificant," hissed Thrax, one of the oldest predator commanders. His voice was low, but every word carried authority. "Tiny, fragile. How could such creatures ever threaten us? Yet they move with purpose," replied Vorin, younger but equally cunning. "Scouts report strange formations in their fleet. Their ships are weak, yes, but organized in ways we have not seen. It is unusual." Thrax slammed a clawed hand on the table. "Unusual? All that matters is strength. We are the hunters. Nothing survives our strike. They will not last an hour in battle against the Dominion. Prepare the fleet." The predators moved like a single organism, ships separated into attack formations, engines flaring as they accelerated toward the human fleet's last known location. Each vessel radiated confidence, knowing that defeat was not an option. Meanwhile, far below the predators' attention, a small human fleet moved with quiet determination. Their ships were far smaller, far weaker, and far fewer than anything the predators had ever faced. Captain Elena Rivera stood on the bridge of the flagship Odyssey, her eyes scanning the stars. "Scanners indicate massive ships approaching from the northeast," said Lieutenant Kai Chen, pointing at the glowing blips on the holo display. Elena's brow furrowed. "They're large. Too large. Any miscalculation could mean the end of us. Prepare the fleet for evasive maneuvers. Everyone stay calm and focus. These aren't monsters yet, they are challenges, and we will meet them head-on." Her words carried a quiet strength, a calm that settled over the crew. Though the humans were outmatched in size and firepower, they had something the predators had never fully understood: human ingenuity and courage. As the distance closed, the first exchange began. Predator scouts moved ahead, probing human defenses with high-energy pulses that could slice through a starship like paper. Humans dodged and weaved, using gravitational anomalies and asteroid clusters to hide their smaller ships. It was not brute strength that saved them, but cleverness. One predator warship, the Ravager, fired a plasma beam directly at the human flagship. The crew braced for impact, but Elena had anticipated it. Using the ship's thrusters, she flipped the Odyssey at the last second, allowing the beam to pass harmlessly through empty space. Simultaneously, the human vessels fired coordinated countermeasures, confusing the predator targeting systems. The predators paused, a rare hesitation in their usual confidence. "They are faster than expected," muttered Vorin, "and intelligent." "That is unexpected." Thrax's eyes narrowed. "Do not mistake small victories for strength. We strike as one. We will crush them." The humans, however, were already thinking several moves ahead. Elena gave orders in a calm, clear voice, each instruction precise and purposeful. Drones deployed from the human ships, creating decoys that mimicked the fleet's movement. Predator sensors picked up the decoys and targeted them, wasting precious energy on empty space. "Captain, they're adjusting," said Lieutenant Chen, his voice tight with concentration. "They've realized the decoys are fake and their fleet is reorganizing." Elena smiled faintly. "Good, that was the plan. Now let's give them the real challenge." She pressed a button, sending the Odyssey's ships into a carefully calculated pincer formation, surrounding the larger predator vessels. Though small, the human fleet moved as if it were a single entity, each ship knowing its role perfectly. For the first time, a predator ship was damaged. One of their front engines was pierced by a precise shot, sending it spinning. The predators recoiled, their confidence faltering. Thrax growled, "Impossible. No creature so small can withstand a strike from us." "They are adapting," Vorin nodded slowly. "They are learning, Thrax, that is the difference. They do not fight blindly. They think, they plan, they predict." The predators struck again, but the humans anticipated each attack. They used debris fields as shields, they countered with synchronized strikes, and they never retreated. Every maneuver was designed not to destroy, but to outsmart. Hours passed. In the void of space, the clash of civilizations continued. silent but deadly. The predators had expected a quick, clean victory. Instead, they were met with strategy, patience, and courage, qualities they had long dismissed as irrelevant. Elena stood on the bridge, watching a predator ship falter under coordinated human fire. "This is why we survive," she said softly. "Not because we are bigger, not because we are stronger, but because we refuse to give up. We fight with our minds, with our hearts, and with each other." The humans pressed their advantage. Small strikes became larger, coordinated efforts. A predator cruiser, the Nightfall, collided with an asteroid while trying to evade a maneuvering human ship. It was a minor victory, but for the humans it was proof that they could survive. In the Predator command hall, Thrax's claws clenched the edge of the holotable. "This is not like anything I have seen. They are insignificant, yet dangerous. How can such fragile creatures pose a threat?" Foran responded quietly, almost in awe. "Perhaps they are not what we expected. Perhaps strength alone is not enough to measure a species." Thrax turned his gaze to the stars, where human ships moved gracefully, almost fearlessly, among asteroids and debris. He realized with an unfamiliar sensation that confidence alone could fail against determination, intelligence, and courage. The predators withdrew slightly, regrouping. This was not defeat, but a pause to reconsider. The humans had proved they were not easy prey. They were clever, adaptable, and unyielding. Elena watched the predator ships retreat, knowing this was only the beginning. "They will return," she said. "And when they do, we will be ready. Humans always are." The stars stretched endlessly beyond, filled with possibility. For centuries, the galaxy had believed that the predators were unstoppable. For the first time, a species of humans had shown them a new kind of challenge, one that brute force could not overcome. As the human fleet prepared to continue their exploration, the predators returned to their own space. The leaders were silent, a rare acknowledgement of something greater than strength. They had met humans for the first time, and the encounter had left an impression no predator would ever forget. Somewhere in the darkness, Thrax finally spoke, his voice carrying a mixture of anger and respect. "We will see what these humans are truly capable of. They may be small, but they are not nothing." And in that moment, across the cold, silent reaches of space, a new rivalry was born, one that would change the galaxy forever. The predators had retreated, but their minds were not at rest. For the first time in centuries, a species had resisted them. Not with overwhelming power, not with weapons stronger than theirs, but with strategy, unpredictability, and courage. Back on the Predator command vessel Dominion, Thrax paced slowly across the observation deck. His black eyes scanned the stars where human ships had disappeared into the distance. "They move with purpose," Thrax muttered. "Small, fragile, yet they are." Calculating, "We underestimated them." Voran, standing nearby, nodded. "Our scouts report that their fleet remains intact. They are regrouping, reorganizing. This is remarkable for creatures so primitive. Perhaps this is a flaw in our knowledge. Humans are not what we expected." Thrax's claws clenched. "Do not speak of flaws, we will strike again. They may be clever, but strength will always prevail." Yet even as he spoke, a part of him wondered, could intelligence truly rival raw power? Meanwhile, the human fleet had not wasted a moment. Captain Elena Rivera studied her crew as they adjusted their positions in the asteroid-laden system. "Predators expect fear," she said quietly to Lieutenant Kai Chen. "They expect us to panic, to flee, but they have underestimated the human mind. We are small, yes, but we can think faster than they anticipate. That is our greatest weapon." Kai nodded. "Our shields are reinforced. Our drones are ready. We can set traps and mislead them if they return." Elena smiled faintly. "Exactly. Predictability is the enemy of survival. We will not just defend. We will teach them that humans are not prey. They are opponents." The calm confidence of humans contrasted sharply with the arrogance of the predators. The next encounter would prove it. Days later, the predators returned. This time they approached more cautiously, their massive ships forming a deliberate wedge formation. Their engines flared ominously, the glow from their energy weapons painting the void in red. The humans detected them long before the predators were within range. Elena gathered her officers on the bridge, They're coming back, she said, voice steady. They believe they can intimidate us with size and firepower. Let's show them intelligence can be just as dangerous. The human fleet moved with precision. Using asteroid clusters as cover, they scattered their ships in patterns designed to confuse predator sensors. Drones mimicked the fleet's movement, creating multiple false targets. When the predators fired their first volleys, their weapons struck only empty space, while the humans struck back with quick, coordinated attacks that disabled several smaller predator craft. "This is unexpected," Vorin hissed. "They are not running. They are countering, predicting our moves." Thrax's eyes narrowed. "They are small, yet they act as one. Focus on a single target, destroy it quickly, show them what real power is." But every attempt failed. The humans adapted, changing tactics with each encounter. When the predators tried a frontal assault, the fleet split and circled around them, striking weak points and then disappearing before retaliation could occur. Elena watched as a predator cruiser misfired, its shields overloading from the pressure of coordinated human strikes. "We're doing more than survive," she said quietly. "We're teaching them a lesson in strategy." The predators began to feel uneasy. Their scouts reported the humans had learned from the first battle. Their fleet was no longer predictable. Every movement, every maneuver suggested planning, observation, and rapid adaptation. In a tense council room aboard the Dominion, the predator leaders debated fiercely. "They are small," Thrax argued. "Every system in the galaxy would laugh at their weakness." "They are learning," said Vorin. "Every attack we make, they respond with something new. They think faster than any prey we have encountered. Intelligence can rival power, Thrax. Perhaps it already has." Thrax's growl echoed through the chamber. "Do not speak of rivalry. Our strength is unmatched. We will strike and overwhelm them." But even he could not hide the doubt creeping into his mind. The humans were forcing the predators to rethink their assumptions about power, dominance, and survival. The next encounter was different. This time the humans prepared an ambush near a dense nebula. The cloud's ionized gases interfered with predator sensors, hiding the small fleet from detection. Elena stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her crew tense but focused. "Stay alert," she instructed. "They will be confident, and overconfidence is our ally. Wait until they enter the nebula before striking. Use the drones to create illusions. Lead them where we want them." The predators entered the nebula, expecting easy prey. But the clouds of gas and human deception turned the battlefield into a maze. Predator sensors failed repeatedly, ships collided with unexpected obstacles, and the human fleet struck from angles the predators could not predict. The Odyssey fired a pulse that disabled the engines of a predator frigate, leaving it adrift in the nebula. Another predator vessel attempted to intervene but was caught in a gravity well created by human technology. "It's impossible," muttered Vorin. "They should not have been able to do this. Yet they have prepared, adapted, and trapped us." Thrax's jaw tightened. "They are learning from every encounter, but learning is not enough. Strength must dominate." But humans were not relying on strength. They relied on thinking, timing, and coordination. They used every advantage the environment offered. Gravitational anomalies, asteroid fields, and even electromagnetic bursts to mask their movements. Each maneuver was carefully calculated, yet executed with human intuition and boldness. In a daring move, Elena led a small squad of ships to flank the predator fleet from behind. Her orders were precise, her timing perfect. The predators were caught off guard. For the first time in recorded history, a predator ship was captured rather than destroyed. The predators, stunned by this display, began to retreat. But even in retreat, they were aware of something new. Humans did not flee in fear. They retreated strategically, setting the stage for the next move. In the Predator Council, tension ran high. "They adapt," Vorin said. "They are unpredictable, intelligent, and fast learners. I do not know if our strength is enough to defeat them." Thrax's claws struck the table. "This is unacceptable. We are the hunters. No creature survives our wrath. We will return. We will overwhelm them. But Perhaps there is something unique about them, something we have not accounted for. Vorin nodded. Yes, they are not just survivors. They are thinkers, planners, and leaders. They may be small, but they are dangerous in ways we have never faced. Back in human space, Captain Elena and her crew knew the predators would return again, but this time, humans were ready. We've proven something important, Elena said, addressing her officers. We are more than we seem. They think only strength matters. We've shown them that courage, intelligence, and teamwork can change the outcome. Never forget that. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. We will not make the same mistake. Lieutenant Chen smiled. They will remember this encounter, Captain, and we will be ready for their next move. Elena gazed out at the stars, a quiet determination in her eyes. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every enemy makes us smarter. Humans survive because we adapt, and we will continue to do so no matter how formidable the opponent may seem. That night, in the silent depths of space, the Predator's fleet moved back to regroup. For the first time, they faced a species that could challenge them not with weapons alone, but with intelligence, courage, and unity. Thrax stared at the stars and spoke softly, almost to himself. These humans, small, fragile, yet unyielding, they are unlike anything we have faced. Perhaps the galaxy will be changed by them. Perhaps we will be changed as well. Vorin added quietly, they are not prey. They are something else, something new, and we must respect that whether we wish to or not. The predators, creatures that had ruled the galaxy for centuries, now faced a truth they had never imagined. Humans could surprise, challenge, and perhaps even defeat them. And in that truth lay the beginning of a rivalry that would echo across the stars for generations. The galaxy had never seen such a confrontation. The galactic predators, the apex hunters of the stars, were facing a species that refused to submit. For the first time, humans were no longer fleeing. They were striking back, with courage and intelligence that unsettled the predators deeply. On the bridge of the Odyssey, Captain Elena Rivera studied the holographic display of the Predator fleet. Their ships were reorganizing, cautious and calculating after their last encounter. They are nervous, she said, her voice calm but firm. They have never faced resistance like ours. We will use that hesitation to our advantage. Lieutenant Kai Chen pointed to the map. They are spreading out, trying to predict our next move, but their sensors still have blind spots in this sector. If we exploit them, we can force them into a trap. Elena nodded. Exactly. Prepare the fleet. This is no longer just defense. It is strategy. We hit them where they are weakest, and we show them humans do not fight like anyone else in the galaxy. Far across space on the Predator command ship Dominion, Thrax was pacing. His massive frame cast shadows across the deck as he addressed the Council of Leaders. They adapt too quickly, he said. Each encounter reveals new strategies. Their attacks are not random, they are planned. This is unlike any prey we have hunted. Vorin stepped forward. They are small, fragile, yet dangerous in ways we never predicted. Intelligence, coordination. It is not physical strength, but mental strength that challenges us. Thrax's claws drummed on the table. Mental strength does not matter. Strength dominates. Yet, I admit, they are more capable than I imagined. We will test them, crush them in a full assault. That will settle this once and for all. Even as he spoke, there was an unease in the room. For the first time, the predators understood that humans were not ordinary prey. The next day, the human fleet moved into position. Using gravitational anomalies and debris fields as cover, they created illusions of larger numbers. Drones scattered in precise patterns mimicking fleet formations. Elena stood on the bridge, her gaze steady. They will strike thinking they have the advantage. But advantage is only what they perceive. When they believe they are in control, we will control them instead. When the predators entered the trap, their sensors were overwhelmed. They fired at what they thought were human ships, only to find empty space. Meanwhile, the real human fleet moved silently, positioning themselves for a coordinated strike. A Predator destroyer, the Oblivion, charged forward, aiming to break the human lines. But at that moment, a squad of human ships, smaller and more agile, attacked its rear engines. The destroyer spun out of control, unable to adjust. "Direct hit," shouted Kai Chen, his eyes shining. "We've disabled one of their main ships." Elena smiled faintly. "Good. Keep pressure. Don't waste energy destroying them completely. Teach them to respect human strategy." In the Predator Council room, the tension was palpable. Voron's voice was low but urgent. They are not fighting blindly. Each encounter they learn and adapt. We cannot predict their next move with certainty. Thrax's jaw clenched. Prediction is unnecessary. We strike with full force. Their small numbers cannot withstand our combined firepower. Yet even he could not ignore the evidence. The humans had successfully trapped and disabled a Predator ship without significant loss to themselves. Their adaptability and coordination was undeniable. "They are clever," admitted Voron, almost in awe. "They learn faster than we can attack. Perhaps this is what we have never experienced before. A species that grows stronger with each encounter." Thrax's eyes glinted with a mixture of anger and curiosity. "We will see if they can survive a coordinated strike from the entire fleet. That will test if their intelligence is more than luck." The humans, meanwhile, had anticipated the Predator's full assault. Elena had planned for this. Every maneuver was calculated, every fleet position deliberate. "Engage the forward drones," she ordered. "Draw their attention to the left flank while the main fleet prepares to strike from the right. Timing is everything." The Predators charged, expecting humans to panic. Instead, the humans split into coordinated groups, flanking the attackers. Plasma beams and energy pulses struck the Predator's ships from multiple directions simultaneously. The Predator Nightfall tried to regroup its forces, but human decoys caused confusion. Smaller Predator ships collided or overcompensated to avoid imaginary threats. Chaos spread among even the largest Predator vessels. "Impossible," Voron hissed. "They are too small, yet every move is calculated. They think faster than we can respond. They are dangerous." Thrax growled. "Dangerous does not mean victorious. They may survive, but we will test their limits." Amid the battle, Elena led a squadron into the heart of the Predator fleet. Using the nebula's interference, her ships became invisible to enemy sensors. With precise strikes, they targeted engine systems, communication arrays, and weapon turrets. Every human ship acted as a single unit, coordinated yet independent. The Predators could not anticipate the strikes. One by one, their ships faltered, forced to retreat or risk destruction. "Captain," said Kai Chen, pointing to the holographic display, "we've created openings. If we push forward now, we can force them into a defensive position. Their arrogance is their weakness." Elena nodded. "Prepare the final maneuver. We hit together, not to destroy them, but to show them that humans are not to be underestimated." The Predator fleet began to retreat under the coordinated human assault, but even in withdrawal there was respect. Every leader on the Dominion felt it, a strange acknowledgement that humans were different from anything they had encountered. In a council room aboard the Dominion, Thrax's voice was quieter than usual. "They are small, fragile, yet they fight with coordination, intelligence, and bravery. No species has ever forced me to respect them before combat began." Voron added, "They are adaptable. They learn from every encounter. They are not prey. They are challengers." For the first time, the Predators realized that their previous methods, overwhelming force and fear, were not sufficient against humans. These creatures had a new kind of strength, the ability to think, adapt, and act with courage. Back in human space, Elena addressed her crew. "This is more than survival. This is proof that humans are capable of confronting the strongest species in the galaxy, not with brute force, but with intelligence, courage, and teamwork. We have won this encounter, but the challenge is not over. They will return, and we must be ready." Kai Chen smiled. "They will remember this defeat, and we will be prepared for their next move. Elena gazed out at the stars, the glow of distant suns reflecting in her eyes. Every challenge teaches us something. Every enemy strengthens us. We are human. That alone is enough to survive, even against the mightiest predators in the galaxy. As the humans rested, repaired, and planned for the next encounter, the predators regrouped. The Dominion and its fleet retreated to a safe distance, shaken but not defeated. Thrax stared into the blackness of space. These humans, they are unlike anything we have faced. Fragile, yes, yet unyielding. Clever, brave, and relentless. Perhaps the galaxy will never be the same because of them. Vorin nodded. They are not just survivors. They are a species that challenges our understanding of strength. We must prepare differently. Adaptation alone will not be enough. They will change the rules of the game. For the predators, this was a revelation. A species they had considered weak, insignificant, and fragile had proven that intelligence and courage could rival raw power. For humans, this was just the beginning. Every battle, every encounter would teach them more about the predators and themselves. And somewhere in the depths of the galaxy, across the cold void, the first seeds of a new rivalry were growing, a rivalry that would test courage, strategy, and the very nature of strength. Humans had survived. Humans had adapted. And humans had begun to turn the tide. The stars stretched endlessly, a silent witness to a galaxy on the brink of change. The galactic predators, confident for centuries, had faced a species that defied all their expectations. The humans were small, fragile, and yet remarkably resilient and intelligent. Each encounter had taught them that the humans were not prey, they were challengers. On the human flagship Odyssey, Captain Elena Rivera studied the new tactical maps. Predator movements were being tracked carefully, and her officers worked tirelessly to analyze patterns from previous encounters. They think we will only defend, Elena said, her gaze sharp. They do not expect an organized strike, but we will give them something they cannot predict. We will take control of this battle, not just survive it. Lieutenant Kai Chen pointed to a nebula on the display. Their main fleet is here. The nebula's interference could mask our movements. If we position carefully, we could lure them into a trap. Elena nodded. Exactly. Prepare the fleet for a coordinated maneuver. Every ship must act in sync. Timing is critical. The predators, meanwhile, believed they still held the advantage. The Dominion led the fleet with precision, every ship radiating the confidence that centuries of conquest had instilled. They will not resist us for long, Thrax said to the council aboard the Dominion. They are small, clever, but they cannot match our firepower. We will crush them decisively this time. Vorin, however, was not so certain. They adapt faster than we anticipate. Every maneuver they make shows strategy, not panic. We may be strong, but this species learns quickly. We must remain cautious. Thrax's eyes narrowed. Caution is unnecessary. We are the apex hunters. Strength will prevail. But even he felt an unease that had never touched him before. Humans had survived 3 encounters. They had learned, adapted, and now perhaps they would challenge the very notion of predator dominance. The human fleet moved into position within the nebula. Ships glided silently, using the clouds of ionized gas to mask their signatures. Drones spread across the area, forming decoy formations that mirrored the fleet. The predators would see only illusions, unable to distinguish the real ships from the false. Remember, Elena said to her officers, every predator expects a frontal assault. We will give them the unexpected, lead them into our trap, and then strike decisively. As the predator fleet entered the nebula, they detected multiple fleets. Sensors were overloaded with false readings, and confusion spread rapidly. Small human ships darted in and out of the clouds, striking at engine systems, communication arrays, and weapon turrets before disappearing again. This is unusual, Vorin hissed. Their ships are too small for such coordinated attacks. And yet they move as one. How is this possible? Thrax growled, his claws scraping across the console. Focus, do not let them confuse you. Destroy them with overwhelming force. The humans pressed their advantage. Elena led a squadron to flank the predator fleet from the rear, striking with surgical precision. The predator's larger ships struggled to respond, their massive size and rigid formations making them slow and predictable. One predator cruiser, the Nightfall, collided with a dense cloud of asteroids while evading what it thought was a human strike. Another vessel, the Oblivion, had its engines disabled by a hidden human drone before it could fire. Chaos spread through the Predator ranks for the first time in centuries. Kai Chen's voice was calm but excited. "Captain, the trap is working. They are scattered and disorganized. We can force them into a defensive position now." Elena nodded. "Good. Move the fleet into the strike zone. Once they are in position, we attack together. Every ship must fire at once, precision, timing, and coordination. That is how humans turn the tide." The Predators tried to regroup, but the humans had anticipated every move. Using gravitational anomalies within the nebula, they created false escape routes and traps, forcing the Predators to adjust continuously. Their own power, which had once been absolute, now became a liability. On the Dominion, Thrax's face darkened. "Impossible. We are the strongest species in the galaxy. How can such small creatures control the battlefield?" Vorin looked grim. "They are not controlling with force, they are controlling with intelligence. They force us to react to them rather than the other way around. That is their strength." Thrax clenched his fists. "No matter. We will not be defeated. We strike with everything we have. All ships firepower full." The humans responded with a final coordinated maneuver. Every ship in the fleet acted like part of a single organism. Drones created false positions while smaller ships struck at weak points in the Predator vessels. The Odyssey led the central strike, firing precise pulses to disable engine systems. The Predators were forced into retreat. Their ships faltered, slowed by the humans' tactical precision. Even the largest vessels were damaged, unable to adjust quickly enough to the humans' cunning maneuvers. Elena watched calmly. "Hold formation. Do not overextend. We are showing them the cost of underestimating humans." One by one, Predator ships were forced into defensive positions. Their confidence, once unshakable, was now replaced with hesitation and doubt. Back on the Dominion, Thrax and Vorin watched the battle unfold. Thrax's voice was low, almost reverent. "They are small, fragile, yet they have taken control of the battlefield without strength, without firepower." "How is this possible?" Vorin replied. "It is not strength that controls humans. It is their courage, their intelligence, and their ability to act together. They are unlike any species we have faced. Perhaps they are a new measure of power." Thrax remained silent, staring at the holodisplay. The humans had turned the tide, and for the first time the Predators were on the defensive. In the midst of the chaos, Elena took a moment to speak to her crew. "Look around you. We are small, but we are strong in ways they cannot measure. Every tactic, every calculation, every act of courage makes a difference. Remember that. We are not just surviving. We are proving that humans are capable of facing the strongest species in the galaxy." Kai Chen nodded. "They will remember this defeat, Captain. And they will return. But next time they will think twice." Elena's gaze went out to the stars, steady and unwavering. "We have proven something important today. Size and strength are not everything. Determination, strategy, and teamwork matter more. That is the human way." The Predators retreated into the darkness, wounded and shaken. Their ships limped back to their own space, the confidence of centuries now tempered by a new respect for humans. Thrax spoke quietly, almost to himself. "These humans, they are different from anything we have faced. Fragile, yes, yet unyielding. Clever, brave, and relentless. Perhaps the galaxy will never be the same because of them." Vorin nodded. "They are not prey. They are challengers, and we must respect that, whether we wish to or not." For the first time, the Predators were forced to reconsider their methods. The species they had believed to be nothing were now a serious threat, not through brute force but through intelligence, courage, and unity. Back in human space, the fleet regrouped. Repairs were underway, strategies refined, and every officer understood the lesson of the day. Humans had survived, adapted, and prevailed without overwhelming power. Elena addressed her crew. "Today we proved that humans are more than they seem. We faced the strongest species in the galaxy, and we showed them what courage, intelligence, and teamwork can do. This is only the beginning. They will return and we must be ready, but we have learned their weakness and we will use it when the time comes." Kai Chen smiled. "We've turned the tide, Captain. They will never see us the same way again." Elena's eyes reflected the distant stars. "Every challenge makes us stronger. Every enemy teaches us more. The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. We will continue to show them the human way, smart, bold, and unstoppable together. Somewhere in the void, across the cold expanse of space, the predators gathered. They had been forced to retreat, but they had also been forced to reflect. Strength alone was no longer sufficient. Humans were different, small, clever, and united. Thrax finally spoke, his voice carrying a grudging respect. They are small. They are fragile. Yet they fight as one. Perhaps we have misjudged this species. Perhaps we will have to change the way we think about the galaxy. Vorin added softly. Humans are no longer prey. They are a force to be respected, and we will learn from this encounter, whether we like it or not. The galaxy had changed. The humans had proven that even the smallest, seemingly weakest species could stand against the mightiest predators in the universe and turn the tide of battle with courage, intelligence, and unity. The stars stretched like a silver ocean, cold and endless. Across the void, the predator fleet moved with precision, ready for what they believed would be a final victory. After suffering repeated setbacks at the hands of humans, the apex hunters were determined to assert their dominance once and for all. Aboard the Predator command vessel Dominion, Thrax stood over the holo display. The human fleet had been tracked carefully, and this time the Predators had prepared a trap. No more hesitation, Thrax said. We strike together. We overwhelm them. Humanity's cleverness will end here. Vorin hesitated. They have survived against impossible odds before. They are clever, adaptable, and unpredictable. We must remain cautious. Thrax's eyes glinted. Caution is unnecessary. Strength dominates all. Prepare the fleet. This will be their last battle. Meanwhile, the human flagship Odyssey glided through the outskirts of a dense asteroid field. Captain Elena Rivera stood on the bridge, observing the approaching Predator fleet with calm focus. They think they will crush us with numbers and firepower, she said quietly. They underestimate what humans are capable of. Today we show them courage, strategy, and unity can triumph over even the strongest predators. Lieutenant Kai Chen pointed to the holographic display. They're forming a wedge formation. Predictable. We can lure them into the asteroid cluster. Once inside, we can control the battlefield. Elena nodded. Exactly. Every ship knows its position. Timing is everything. We strike not just with firepower, but with precision, coordination, and cleverness. We make them fight our way, not theirs. As the Predator fleet advanced, their massive ships radiating menace, the human fleet moved like a single organism. Drones scattered into false formations. Decoys mimicked human ships. And every vessel prepared for the decisive moment. The Predators fired first. Plasma beams streaking through space, but many struck illusions instead of real targets. Smaller human ships darted in unpredictable patterns, exploiting blind spots and striking weak points in Predator vessels. A Predator cruiser, the Oblivion, had its engines damaged by a precise human strike and began to drift uncontrollably into the asteroid field. Another, the Nightfall, collided with debris as it attempted to evade attacks. Chaos spread through the Predator ranks for the first time in their history. Thrax roared. Focus, destroy them. Do not let these humans dictate the battle. Vorin shook his head. They are already controlling us. Every move we make is anticipated, countered, or exploited. We cannot rely on strength alone anymore. Even Thrax had to admit the truth. Humans were not ordinary prey. They were clever, quick-thinking, and fearless. Strength alone was not enough. The humans executed the next phase of their plan. Using the dense asteroid field, they created narrow channels and false escape routes. Predator ships, too large to maneuver quickly, became trapped in areas carefully chosen by the humans. Elena's voice was steady. Now strike together. Every ship fires on their weak points. Focus on engines, weapons, and communication arrays. Keep them from coordinating. Timing is perfect. Do not hesitate. A synchronized wave of fire swept across the Predator's trapped vessels. Engines faltered, weapons overloaded, and communication systems went offline. One by one, Predator ships were disabled or forced to retreat, unable to respond effectively. Kai Chen's eyes lit up. They're trapped. The trap is working perfectly. We control the battlefield, Elena nodded. Hold steady. Precision, not destruction. We are showing them the cost of underestimating humans. The Predator Council aboard the Dominion was tense. Thrax's massive claws pounded the console in frustration. Impossible. How can such small creatures control the battle? We are the apex hunters, Vorin replied calmly, though with respect. They are not controlling with power, Thrax. They are controlling with intelligence, courage, and unity. This is a species that turns every challenge into an opportunity. We have never seen anything like this. Thrax's eyes glinted with a mixture of anger and awe. For the first time, he recognized that humans possessed a strength unlike any predator had known. Mental resilience combined with tactical skill. In the asteroid field, Elena led a small strike squadron directly into the heart of the predator formation. Using the nebula clouds and asteroid cover, the ships became invisible to the predator sensors. Every move was precise, every strike deliberate. Engines were disabled, shields were penetrated, and the predator fleet faltered under the onslaught. One massive predator cruiser, the Ravager, was forced to retreat after its weapons were rendered inoperable by a clever human strike. Another, attempting to flank the human fleet, became trapped in a gravity well created by a human device. "Captain," Kai Chen said, pointing to the display, "we've forced them to retreat. The battlefield is ours." Elena's gaze remained calm and determined. "Hold formation. We are not finished. Every move must reinforce the lesson. Humans cannot be underestimated." The predators finally admitted what they had long refused to recognize. Humans were not prey, they were worthy opponents. In the Dominion Council, Thrax spoke quietly, almost reverently. "They are small, fragile, yet they fight with intelligence, courage, and coordination. No species has ever forced me to respect them before the battle even ends." Vorin nodded. "They are not ordinary survivors. They are challengers. We may have strength, but they have something we did not expect. We must respect them and learn from them." Thrax's eyes, dark as space itself, reflected a mixture of anger and admiration. For centuries, no one had stood against the predators. Yet humans, with their ingenuity, had done more than survive. They had turned the tide of battle. On the human flagship, Elena addressed her crew. "Today, we have proven that humans are capable of standing against the strongest species in the galaxy. Courage, intelligence, and teamwork have triumphed over brute strength. Remember this lesson. The galaxy may underestimate us, but we will never underestimate ourselves." Kai Chen smiled. "They will remember this defeat, Captain, and when they return they will think twice." Elena's gaze stretched across the stars. "Every challenge strengthens us. Every enemy teaches us something new. Today we have changed the way the galaxy will see humans, and this is only the beginning." The predator fleet retreated into the darkness, wounded, frustrated, but also forced to acknowledge the unimaginable capabilities of humans. Even the apex hunters had been challenged, and they could not ignore the truth. Humans were strong in ways that did not rely on size or firepower. Thrax spoke quietly to his council. "They are clever, fearless, and united. Fragile, yes, yet unyielding. Perhaps the galaxy has never seen a species like this. We must adapt or risk being challenged again." Vorin added softly, "They are not prey. They are a species to be respected. And in time, perhaps we will understand what makes them strong." For the first time, the predators understood that intelligence, courage, and cooperation could rival brute strength. Humans had survived, adapted, and prevailed against the mightiest hunters in the galaxy, and earned their respect. The human fleet regrouped after the battle, repairing minor damage and preparing for the next stage of exploration. Elena walked among her officers, her calm presence inspiring confidence. "We have faced the strongest species in the galaxy and survived," she said, "not because of power, not because of numbers, but because we are human. We adapt, we learn, we act together. Remember this victory. It is proof of what we can achieve when we refuse to give up." Kai Chen nodded. "They will return, Captain. But now they will do so with respect, not arrogance. We have changed the way they see humans." Elena smiled faintly. "Exactly. And that is the most important part. Humans are no longer insignificant. We have proven that even the smallest, seemingly weakest species can rise against the strongest predators in the galaxy." Somewhere in the void, the predators regrouped. They had been forced to retreat, but they had also been forced to reflect on their understanding of strength. The humans had shown them that raw power was not the only measure of might. Thrax finally spoke, a mixture of respect and begrudging admiration in his voice. "They are small, fragile, yet they fight as one. Perhaps the galaxy will never be the same because of them." Vorin added, "They are not prey. They are challengers, and we will respect them from now on." The galaxy had changed. The humans had proven that courage, intelligence, and teamwork could overcome even the greatest predators. The stars themselves seemed to acknowledge it. A new era of respect, rivalry, and possibility had begun, and across the endless void, Captain Elena and her crew looked to the future, knowing that humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through raw power but through heart, mind, and unity. The apex predators had learned something the galaxy had never taught them. Humans were not to be underestimated,